No, I got to lean in.
What is up, everybody? Happy Tuesday. Thank you guys for joining on our episode, what is it, 7? 8 of the
Eight,
Real
yeah.
Housewives. 8, thank you. Real Housewives of New York City. As you guys can see, it's me and Miss Shantae tonight. We've got some things moving around in the back. Apparently Salt Lake City is dropping tonight, so we've got to get our panel together to record tomorrow. So you get us, and you're gonna like it, and you're gonna love it, and the two of us are gonna put on a great show for you. Hey, Shantae, how are you doing tonight?
Oh, so glad to see you. I'm
So
glad
glad.
that it's Salt Lake City Day as well. But we're here for RHONY all day, every day.
Exactly. Thank you guys who are already blowing up the comments. We got April and Kevin. Good to see you guys again. You guys have become staples in the chats that we have here the last couple of weeks for RHONY. So thank you guys so much for your continued support. Before we jump into it, if you're new to the channel, please like and subscribe. Please check out our channel. We do a ton of other recaps. Housewives of Beverly Hills, Atlanta, Love and Hip Hop, as we stated. Salt Lake City is getting ready to start. Miami is getting ready to start again. There is something for everybody on this channel. Let us know what you like. Subscribe with that little bell so you can stay up to date on our lives. And let's get right into it. So we ended the episode last week with them talking about the trip to Anguilla, and Aaron kind of stomped off after they were making Rees because she was upset at Brynn, saying she wanted her and her husband to get a divorce. So now we kind of jump into just them talking about this little trip to Anguilla. Uba is COVID free and back in the mix. Welcome back, friend of the show, Uba. She's fighting for that. She's fighting for that golden apple these last couple of episodes. She looks really, really good in this new confessional look that she has. Her and Sai are together and kind of shopping for this trip. She's pushing Sai to dress a little sexier, show some skin, and Sai really doesn't want to. So the two of them sit down, and Sai kind of catches Uba up on what she missed at this wreath making. Rather than really get into the nitty gritty of what happened between Aaron and Brynn, Sai decides she wants to bitch a little bit more about Jenna Lyons' gifts and the branding opportunities that Jenna seems to be taking. She can't fathom that Jenna would just want to give swag away to people. She really is harping on the fact that Jenna has brand deals with people. She's got collaborations with people. And it really is in her brain that the only reason Jenna is giving these gifts is because she wants her new friends to promote all of her businesses. I love Sai, and we've talked about this before. When Sai is good, she's good TV. But when she's annoying, my God, she is one of the most annoying people on the cast. Her and Brynn are just like every week fighting to be the most annoying person on this cast. Uba kind of says like, oh, well, that's weird. But then talk turns to the anniversary party, the vow renewal, and Uba kind of says, well, that was really shitty for you to leave. Good for her for sticking with it and not kind of taking the bait on talking shit about Jenna. So I like that Uba kind of stuck with it, but unfortunately, Sai kind of digs her heels in this and seems a little bit surprised that Uba would think it was in poor taste. And Uba kind of says, you could have ordered a pizza or something. Like, you shouldn't have left the event. And Sai was like, oh, well, I don't care. I was ready to go. I was ready to leave. So in this, I mean, we talked about it the last time we were on with the wreath making about Sai complaining about these gifts. Like, I just find it hard to believe that she still is so hard up to take free swag, which she did take, right? Like, we didn't see her say, no, Jen, I can't possibly. I don't feel good about this. She took all that, but now she's wanting to complain about it. What are your thoughts on that, Shantae?
I'm so annoyed with Sai and Brynn. I liked them at first, and I still like them, in Jesus, in the spirit, but in the flesh, they tap dancing on every last one of my nerves. And it's Christmas time. Like, they're acting like you don't give people gifts at Christmas. So I'm like, if these Grinches don't stop bothering Jenna and trying to throw dirt on Jenna's name, I don't know what the fans are going to do, because I see a lot of people on Team Jenna, and I'm totally Team Jenna. And I'm glad that Uba shows that she has a mind of her own, because if there's something else that tap dances on my nerves, it's a girl that's a follower, somebody that don't have the balls or the cojones or whatever to stick up for what's right. And Uba totally told Sai, no, sometimes you're a little obnoxious and you was rude, for leaving. And the difference between the way Aaron confronted Sai and the way Uba confronted Sai about the same, leaving early issue shows that it's not what you say, it's how you say it. Because they both low-key called her rude. Aaron high-key called her rude, and that was the problem. Because Aaron was just name-calling out the gate. You don't have a conversation with somebody talking about, oh, I think you're extremely rude. And of course, Sai, had her defenses up and backed her up off of her really fast with that. And the difference with Uba is that she did say alternatives and offer solutions and say, maybe you could have ordered an Uber Eats. Maybe it could have been a little bit more respectful, So again, it shows me how much Uba is needed, because I was like, where is Uba? You called her friend of, which is, all tea, but really no shade, because she had COVID, she's been out for the count a little bit, but we missed her presence in that class. That sense of a mind of her own is very much needed. And Sai does need somebody to get her together, because for somebody who, has business sense and, a husband with a level head, she is not showing that she's thinking through what's really going on with the girls. She's not as sensitive, I guess, to what's going on with Jenna, because Jenna's also a businesswoman, and it's Christmas. So I don't know why she's giving her this much grief. If she claims, to want to reach out to Jenna and want Jenna to open up more, why are you going to throw her under the bus behind her back like that,
Yeah.
And if you want money from Jenna, just say that. I know it's your job, to be an influencer, but she didn't ask you to influence. If my memory serves me correctly, Brynn saw that she posted her own boxing on her own site, and she has plenty of way more high status fashion contacts like Anna Wintour and like Michelle Obama, to name a few. She did not ask you to promote anything on her site. And if she did it, why are you acting like you could read her mind? Like it blows my mind. And I just wonder what you think,
Well, Sai did mention, she mentioned a couple of times, she was like, it's not like she flat out asks us to post, but I feel like she expects us. So I said, so all of this complaining is because you have a feeling that somebody wants you to do something. So you're being shady to them rather than just point blank asking, are you wanting us to post this? Is there some hashtags or something? But I find it weird that this is the only franchise, like, the girls at Beverly Hills are plugging each other's tequilas. They're plugging, Cynthia Bailey had a whole eyewear collection and gifted the girls their sunglasses. Like, Kenya Moore had a whole hair care thing and gave swag bags away with her hair care. Like, that's kind of the name of the game. And for Sai being an influencer, you think that you would want to maximize your brand on the show by partnering up with other brands? Because even, Jenna invited Sai as an influencer, as a fashion girl, to the casting selection for her brand as a way to kind of bolster what it is that Sai does for herself. It seems like Sai really hasn't taken any initiative to kind of promote her brand. And I think she's really failing at that because she's just complaining about everybody else really trying to get their paper up. And it's like, if you're jealous that other girls have a better business acumen, okay, then just say that. But like, don't try to shit on somebody because they're trying to make sure that they maximize the opportunity that they have, because we don't know how long we're going to be around. Let me get my brands out there. So she's working my nerves a little bit.
Thank
you.
So
we migrate over. Jenna and her brother are in New York City. Jenna kind of flashes a memory. They were there when they were younger. She takes this time again to talk about her brands and the exciting stuff that she is doing. But more specifically, she says, these brands that I'm partnering with are giving me the opportunity to really work with Black-owned brands, Latino-owned brands, women-owned brands. So much diversity that the fashion industry hasn't really highlighted. I get the privilege to highlight some of these other brands. And that she's even said that when she's giving gifts. I gave these gifts to you because they're all women-owned. They're small businesses. I was hoping to turn you guys onto these businesses in order to get more traffic to them. The the conversation turns to the trip that they're getting ready to take, and Jenna mentions that she's kind of nervous about being half naked or in a swimsuit in front of the other ladies. She's saying that, you know, due to her genetic condition, which she's talked about before, she does have some scarring on her skin and some discolorization. And that has been a big point of insecurity for her. But then she goes even deeper and she's kind of sharing with us how she's lost teeth. She's lost her hair. She's had 13 surgeries just on the top row of her teeth because she's losing bone density. And it's in this stuff like that, you know, I don't think that we've ever seen Housewives really go that in depth on some of the areas of insecurities for appearances, right? Housewives has kind of become known to being superficial, and we're getting plastic surgery and we're doing all this stuff to remain youthful and vain. It's kind of the frivolous stuff that we like. But she's really like opening up and sharing pictures of what she looks like without all of these things. And I've never heard of this genetic condition that she has. But again, this is an example of using a platform to really shine light onto something that somebody else might be going through. And I really applaud her for kind of putting that front and center, because you know how ugly the internet can be. We all know how ugly Twitter can be. And she must have known that by putting pictures of herself without teeth or discolorization or her hair, that it was going to open herself up to some ridicule or to some a little bit of Twitter bullying. But I haven't seen a whole lot of that, which people might be inherently good after all. Then we have Brynn, who's also with her brother in LA. She mentions, oh, we both used to live here. And I think you brought up on an episode one time that Brynn actually was living in LA up to the point of like filming, right? I thought that was kind of interesting. That she was like, we both lived here. We loved it. I was like, you just left there like last week. So you're just back home. You're collecting your bags. But she's talking about how she doesn't like being single, how she may not be ready for marriage or children, but she kind of, you know, she thinks like she needs to settle down because she's 36. And she's kind of all over the place with this, right? She's crying about her upbringing, kind of putting her in a position to not really trust people or not feel like she's ready. But then also in the same breath, she's like, yeah, I want to get married and just punch out a kid. And it's just kind of these scenes that I don't really understand Brynn, except for the fact that I 100% get that over sexualization that she does is an act. It's all a facade and it's all an act. But then I also can't take her seriously when she's crying about not wanting to be seen as like a sexual person. And she really is ready to settle down. But when she's called to the mat for some of these things, like with Aaron last week, she kind of digs her heels and stuff and is like, oh, I'm not apologizing. That's just me. You're just going to have to deal with it. Right. So what are your thoughts on these two little scenes?
I thought it was really cool that we got to juxtapose kind of the two pairs of siblings, you know. On the one hand, with Jenna and her brother, you definitely got the sense that the brother understood her struggle. And then when they were showing the pictures, you know, of all her surgeries and the swelling and the missing bones and teeth and all that, like my heart went out to Jenna. I have had problems with like impacted wisdom teeth. And on one side, I literally had to have my jaw broken twice, you know, because they were so scared about getting rid of it. So first they just took the top off, and then I ended up in hospital. I had an allergic reaction to like the penicillin, and then they had to break my jaw open again to get like the bottom part out of my jaw. Like that stuff, it's really traumatic when you have to do like those kinds of surgeries like that. And just the fact that Jenna's being such a trooper, she's done with it all her life. Like with my wisdom tooth, that was just like for like maybe like 1 or 2 years, you know. But like literally, she's been dealing with this, and then the insecurities, you know, with the skin and the teeth, and you know, the healing that she's had to keep doing over and over again. And you could tell that her brother was rooting for her, and it was just so wholesome, you know, to see them. And then on the other hand, you had Brynn and her brother, who both are going through trauma and dealing with, you know, the I guess fallout from what, you know, their parents and society has done to them. And it's nice that Brynn does have somebody who truly sees her and knows where she's coming from as well, because she does, I think, put on this front of, you know, being fun and flirty, because like she said, she felt like if she made people smile enough, or if she made people like her enough, you know, they would accept her and she could have, you know, more options than what she has had, you know, in the past. So I thought it was cool to see the girls outside the friend group with family because you see more of the real them, you know, their real struggles. And it's just beautiful that, again, the reboot allows us to get to know new people. And even
Yeah.
though some people and some fans, you know, might think of it as moving slow, this is the season where we get to know them. And this is kind of what's
Yeah.
supposed to happen, you know?
No, I completely agree because we've seen on other franchises where new girls come in and it's like episode one, I'm fighting, I'm picking on the
Yeah.
OGs, like we see with Atlanta and, you know, Courtney, for instance, and then the fans don't like that. Oh, you need to sit back and let us get to know you first, and you can't jump into drama. And then when the girls are trying to get to know you, it's very much, this is boring. It's slow. Bring back the old girls, and it's like, my God, you're not ever going to please anybody. But I do agree. I like the fact that you're able really to get a little bit of taste of what all sides of the women have. Some of them I like, some of them I'm like, ooh, maybe I should just see the superficial layer because I don't like the kind of person you are right now. So we'll see. We'll see how the next 6 episodes play out. So I guess, you know, we go to commercial and we come back, and I guess it's after Jenna has had her surgery. So it's a couple of days later. And Erin shows up to her apartment to bring herself some soup and to take care of her. But really, we find out as the conversation goes on, it's really just to gawk at her pain and then to throw some shade at her. Erin, that's a nasty girl. She got a nasty spirit on her. She makes this joke about like, oh, well, I don't really know what Jenna's going through because I just got my first cavity 3 months ago, but it sounds like it's traumatic. And I'm like, it's a genetic condition? Like, I don't know how your poor oral hygiene kind of conflates, but okay, sure. But she does take a good one question to ask how Jenna is doing before going into her own drama. She, again, is talking about how she feels about Brynn talking about her husband, and they start talking about the wreath making. And Jenna kind of apologizes. She says, you know, I would have gone after you, but I thought that you just needed a little bit of break. I thought you were getting up to kind of step outside. I didn't realize you had left. I genuinely apologize for that. That's an ugly situation to be in, right? And Erin just kind of is like, yeah, well, I'm still mad at Brynn and it's whatever. And she was rude as hell and I just can't deal with her anymore. And, you know, she kind of has a reason to be, like we discussed last week, but I find it very hard to feel sorry for somebody who is as two-faced as she is kind of showing that she is. It's almost like she shows up to Erin's or Jenna's place just to say that she was there and to kind of like gather up some dirt or to go back to the girls and be like, oh, well, this is what I saw. Like Jenna has not a single friend other than Jessel up in this house right now. And even Uba, we see a little bit later, kind of flipped on her when it came to the traveling situation. So, Erin switches gears and we're talking about the trip, right? And so she mentions that Jenna had kind of told everybody in the group chat that she wasn't going to fly down with them. She was going up on a Monday, 2 days earlier with them. And Brynn apparently was super pissed. And of course, we see a screenshot of the group chat. And Sai is the very first person to throw some shade at her. She said, diva much. We get a flashback of Brynn complaining to Jessel about Jenna not coming. They make a little joke about, you know, Jenna having to be there early to set up all her swag bag and stuff. And Jenna is very open with Erin. She goes, look, my skin makes me very self-conscious and makes me uncomfortable. When I don't have a tan, you can very clearly see the discolorization on my skin. I want to be able to tan because that's the only thing that makes it a little bit better. And then she just kind of joked. She was like, but let me go ahead and be honest with you. The real reason I'm going early is because I don't want to fly coach. And she kind of laughs, and I'm like, well, if I had the money, I would never fly coach again in my entire life. Like, who actively wants to fly coach? So Jenna kind of laughs at her and jokes. She was like, oh, my God, I want to fly coach with you. I'm going to come back with you, right? But then we see her in her confessional taking the first jab at Jenna that she possibly can and just said that, like, you know, she doesn't seem that mad, but she was like, I can't believe she's wanting, you know, she doesn't want to fly coach. That's so, you know, that's such a diva thing to do. That's so crazy. And I just didn't see the issue like at all. So would you be upset if your friend decided that they wanted to spend their own dollars to fly first class?
I wish somebody would be upset over how I spend my money because that is bananas. Like, Erin was totally giving frenemy energy. She slithered into that girl's house with that bowl of
That
unseasoned
nasty soup.
that's as thin as their friendship. And she was sent to carry bones back to the girls. And the problem was she didn't even carry the bone back correctly because Jenna was talking about her genetic condition and her insecurities about her skin and what was going on with her body and her feelings and how she's planning, to tan just to try to look, and feel good about herself. And she does mention, the business class upgrade, which is on par for someone of her stature. And all Erin could think about was just the business class. And like she skips over, the pouring out of her heart about her insecurity,
Exactly.
and her illness and all her literal suffering. She's sitting there with an ice pack on her face because she just had surgery. And you're telling me that you can't understand why somebody who's 6 feet tall, healing from surgery and wealthy would want to upgrade to business class? I was like, Jenna, you got to get away from this seemingly bitter Betty because it could not be me.
Absolutely. Kevin mentions Erin is an undercover hater. And it truly is, because I don't know if I had the means to do that and my friend said, I'm going to fly first class, I wouldn't complain about them and be like, girl, how much is this ticket? Let me see if I can fandangle this into my budget. Because I would absolutely fly first class if the opportunity presented itself. And I mean, Erin's point of it's only a 3-hour flight. Okay, and 3-hour flight that I don't want to take. I will fly business class. And that's that. I don't understand what the issue is. And it's just that little conversation there that it absolutely made me side-eye Erin. It's why are you here? What is the point of you being here? One, like you mentioned, she just had jaw surgery. Why are you in my face trying to make me talk? I'm trying to recover right here with this nasty soup and these little crackers. So please leave my house. Well, while they're doing this, Jessel is also packing, and her full apology tour about that little slip dress is in full effect because she says, now that I lost a little weight, this slip dress is actually kind of cute. I'm like, Jessel, it's fine. We get it. You're sorry. You don't have to lie about that dress being cute. Nobody hates you anymore. Erin and her husband are also packing. Her son's pissing all over the floor, while the cameraman's there. And I actually thought Erin was going to have a whole meltdown about pee on the floor. But of all the things that she's lost her shit over, urine, she was like, oh, okay, let the baby go get pants. And I'm like, you didn't dry off his legs. The pee's still on the legs. Go wash the baby and you get a clean pair of pants. But Jessel and Pavitt are talking about Pavitt going to Vietnam. He mentioned that he has a ticket that he needs to use, and he's only going to go for 3 days because he wants a sandwich. And Jessel is like, I don't understand what we're doing. My mom is not going to be here. Why are you going to Vietnam? And he said, well, that sounds like it's a problem for you to figure out. Why are you going to Anguilla? And she says, well, I'll be spending time with my friends. And he said, okay, and I want a sandwich. And it's just this little back and forth that makes me love them even more, because I can't tell if they're serious, right? I cannot tell if they're dead serious about this bickering or if this is just their communication style. So before we get up, so we get a couple of montages. Jenna is flying very rich in first class. She gets to the beach. She's enjoying. The girls are all flying Southwest or whatever it is that they're flying. They have to check their luggage.
Pause for 1 second, though. Pause. Speaking of flying, do you really believe that Pavitt is going to fly for 40 hours just to spend 24 hours in Vietnam? Do you really think he's going to Vietnam?
No.
Tell the truth, Jay. Tell the truth and say the devil.
Do you think I think if he's going to Vietnam, I think he will probably spend 3 days in Vietnam. I don't think that he was counting his travel time. I don't think he was counting the travel time. He said, I'm going to be there for 3 days, not I'm going to be gone for 3 days. I think Jessel is just like, why are you leaving? Watch these kids. Please don't leave me alone with these kids.
But no, he was talking about the airport is fun. He's like, oh, I like to be
I love flying.
Come on, bye. Do you really think that he's
but he also
Vietnam?
He said, I just need to get away. I need a break. He just said, from everything, from you, these kids, your mother, I need a break. And I can't blame him. Look, if you can afford to go to Vietnam for 3 days to get a sandwich, go to Vietnam for 3 days to get a sandwich.
It's not no sandwich. It's giving passport, bro. It's giving doing something that I shouldn't be doing because he's being vague. He didn't really consult with his wife about just kind of telling her about it after the fact. As much as I'm a Pavitt fan, I'm surprised that Jessel took it so well because I would have so many questions. Like this would not be.
Well, they had already talked about it. It did a flashback where she mentioned when the mom was here, he was like, yeah, I have a work trip. I'm going to Vietnam in a couple of days. And someone mentioned in the comments, he probably told her about Vietnam to get back at her for going at that trip. Like they got two twin 2-year-olds. Like no parent is going to be like, yeah, I'm totally cool with you jetting out and leaving me with these 2 kids. So like Team Pavitt, go get your sandwich, Pavitt.
Team Jessel. I can't believe I'm saying this. Look where we are.
Look how far we've come. So the girls are traveling. They get to the house, and I will say, Sai does have expensive taste. We've seen that with the food. We've seen that with everything she complains about because this house that she has chosen is absolutely beautiful. The views are gorgeous. She has enough rooms. Unfortunately, 2 girls are going to have to share a room. We've seen some other Housewives trips where it's like 3 rooms divided amongst like 9 women. Figure it out for yourselves. So good job, Sai. You get a good job from me there. The girls are all picking their room, and Brynn in her confessional kind of snarks that Jenna gets the shitty room because she didn't fly with them all together as a group. So that's what she gets, kind of like a punishment. So they're all kind of sitting outside. And Aaron the snake says, do we know when Jenna is getting here? Because I don't want her hearing anything I'm about to say. And I was like, oh, okay. This is what we're doing. Which is interesting because she literally was just cussing Sai and Brynn out less than 3 or 4 days ago. And now she's best friends, like gearing up with them to give her all this new tea she found out. So she proceeds to tell the story. And like you mentioned earlier, she leaves out the big part about Jenna feeling insecure about her body and wanting to get there to get some time to ramp up. And she adds a little extra sauce on it. She tells the girls that Jenna says, the truth is, I'm not flying with you because I don't fly coach, which is not what Jenna said. Jenna said, and even when Aaron brought it up, when she said, what do you mean you don't fly coach? She goes, well, I'll fly. I just don't want to. Those are 2 completely different things. She made Jenna sound like she was this hoity-toity, uppity, like, ugh, I'm not going to do that. When all she said was like, no, I am not in the mood to do that. Plain and simple. Then she kind of alludes to like, well, then she also said that like she's self-conscious and she's, this and that. Jenna's reasoning for telling the girls this is saying, well, Jenna isn't open or honest with the girls, and she would do so much better if she just told us the real reason. And I'm like, she did tell you the reason, but also you've proven that you're not a trustworthy person. So like, why am I telling you anything? Ladies are pissed. Brynn, for some weird reason, is like livid about this situation. And I'm like, I get it. You can only afford coach, but like, let people enjoy some things. Then Sai is kind of like, well, that doesn't even make any sense because she said she doesn't even like to tan. She says she's going to wear a burqa. And I'm like, do the girls not understand like sarcasm or jokes? Like, because it really feels like they're taking everything as like pure face value seriousness. Like that was obviously a joke. She's told the ladies her story before about the skin condition, which is why she says, I only ever wear this when they were talking about clothes. So they ladies sit down to eat. Brynn, for some reason, thinks that we care about her opinion on this and says, I'm scared that Jenna's going to make me quick to forgive her because she's going to use a baby voice. And then I'm going to feel like I'm bullying her. And I'm like, this woman really forgets what she sounds like on a daily basis. Like she sounds like a broke American Girl's doll consistently every time she opens her mouth. She's just really insufferable. She's clicked so far down, and she's really showing that she's a brat, a spoiled brat. And then she brings up Jenna's posts, Jenna's gifts, saying like it's almost like she expects me to post this stuff and it's not coming from the heart. And I'm like, you literally have no followers. Like you have your brother and like maybe an aunt and like 10 people. Like I really don't know what people are going to see on your page. But yeah, the girls are just complaining over and over, complaining about this. You mentioned that Jenna made. They're complaining about Jenna's video that she made about the gifts. So they're mad if she expects them to post. They're mad if she doesn't expect them to post and she posts herself. Like she literally, she can't win with these ladies. What did you think of this?
Oh my gosh, they were tap dancing on my nerves again. Like, seriously. I could not believe these girls. Like, how do you go on national TV and just choose violence like this? Like, Jenna, she does nothing to nobody. She literally gave them gifts for Christmas. It's Christmas. That's what people do. They give gifts at Christmas. And these Grinches are just being so ungrateful and trying to paint Jenna as this kind of scheming person. Do I think that Jenna is getting some promotion out of the show? Of course, but what she's promoting is directly to us fans of the show. And she proved that by doing her own boxing on her own social media. She never asked Brynn nor Sai to do any of the things that they're making up in their own head. And it really shows why humility is very important, because especially for Brynn, it's given delusional, because you, my dear, as much as I like you and you're funny, it's like you have admitted and self-reported that you spend time in parties showing selfies of yourself with your coochie out naked, you know, to get attention. You're making sex noises in gyms. Allegedly, you know, you got tax issues and you almost got evicted. It's like, you're not the poster child for somebody to be, you know, asking for these kinds of promotions and sponsorships. I mean, and especially again, when Jenna Lyons has people like Anna Wintour and Michelle Obama and Solange that she's in contact with that can be the face of whatever partnership she has, you got to be a little bit more humble. Like, please stop. This going after Jenna thing is getting old real fast. And I know most people on social media are team Jenna. And the more these girls get on her, especially when she's talking about her health issues and the reason why, you know, she's doing these things. And when she's just being so kind as to, you know, share her things and gifts with them, it's just like, they're going to look real shady and bad. And I can't wait to see the reunion when Jenna confronts them, you know?
Yep. I completely agree. You make a good point. She has these huge names that know her, that invite her to events. She was the head of Banana Republic. She could consciously be partnering with huge luxury brands to do these co-sponsorships and these partnerships. But instead, she's utilizing her name to spotlight minority-owned businesses, women-owned businesses, smaller startups, and is using this platform to get those people recognition. She could absolutely have partnerships with the Louis Vuittons and the Chanels and all of these, you know, luxury brands, because these are the circles that she runs in. So I'm really struggling to see what the issue is with her actively like giving away swag. One, they're not her products. They're products that she is assisting to get off the ground. Like, they're products marketed to, like you said, the viewers, everyday women, everyday people. This is who her demographic is. And for someone of Jenna Lyons' stature to kind of choose that market to say, this is really what I want to turn people onto, versus going the easy route and, you know, charging $500 for lashes and they're meek and they're luxury and they're all this. Like, she's doing something worthwhile. And I just don't understand what the animosity is. We have some comments, like Amanda said, I don't think Brynn ever liked Jessica. Dreamer mentioned, Brynn can joke all day long about stealing someone's husband and husband swapping, but Jenna can't joke about a burqa because then she's lying. Dreamer also said people record gift giving all the time. That's true. It's part of what social media is. You record people opening your gifts. You record birthdays, unless you're Jenna Lyons, and then it's completely off limits. You should do things completely in the dark and under the cover of night, apparently. So for a woman who's influencing, Sai is showing that she has absolutely no influence on anything.
Oh Oh, and Destiny Franco would make them sick. Candy Burris would make them like.
Oh,
sick.
absolutely.
Like, all
Candy
the other
Burris has had
housewives are
events. Candy has built a multi-million-dollar empire off of giving you dildos and all kinds of stuff. Like, take this swag.
Right. If they're sick of Jenna, then they have not met the other housewives or know anything about housewife land. It's just delusional.
All right, so Jenna arrives, and literally she arrives right at the same time where her friend Erin decides to ask the girls. It feels icky, right? Like it's ick that Jenna is asking us to post this or insinuate we need to post. And again, Jenna, as nice as she is, hugs everybody, kisses everybody. It's good to see you. It's, how's it going? Hi, thank you so much. And Erin in her confessional takes this opportunity to shade her friend again and say, well, for someone who's self-conscious of her skin, Jenna sure is showing off a lot of it. And I'm like, I want to fight. Get Portia. Where's Portia Williams? Because we need someone with hands on this show immediately. So as the ladies are hugging and kissing, leave it to Sai to be the accountability police. She immediately jumps on that Erin spilled the beans, and everybody's mad that Jenna didn't come. So, like, Jenna hasn't even had an opportunity to, like, sit and take a breath before Sai and Brynn are like going in on her. And even Uba kind of says, we were just talking about you. We're pissed. I'm like, Uba, no, not you. Not you. And she had mentioned right before Jenna got in, she said, Jenna can suck my, And I'm like, wait. Uba, let's not. You've been gone for 3 weeks. Let's not do this.
It's the Erin effect.
It's the Erin effect.
Erin has this mean girl energy, and she knows how to drum up the girls. And the thing is, she saw how they left her for dead last time when she tried to come for them about, her flop anniversary party, whatever. So now she decided to take the energy off of herself. I think she was the main one who was jealous about, Jenna flying business class. Because even in Jenna's face, she was like, I want to fly business class with you too. And instead of making it a big deal, which probably she wanted to, because Jenna only told her, what she did was she twisted Jenna's words. She drummed up all the girls to be mad at Jenna by making her, seem like she did not want to travel with them for such shallow reasons. And it worked. It was her mean girl magic, if you will. And, as bad as it can be sometimes, Erin can be in charge of the girls. And you saw how Brynn was basically kind of like having her head up her butt, trying to get forgiveness from her, begging the butler to carry up the bags for her. Like, it's a little weird, the effect that Erin has on the girls, but she is kind of training them to treat her like the queen with the way she makes them apologize to her all the damn time. And the way she's got her little puppet strings on them now to go after Jenna. It's like she had that one failed apology attempt with Sai and Brynn, and now she's retrenched. She's like, all right, let me go back to my little mean girl ways. And unfortunately, it worked, and I'm sad it worked on Uba, but I don't think it's going to work on Uba for long because, like we said, Uba has a mind of her own. And we saw in the previews, she's going to be snatching glasses once the mean girl spell wears off. But Erin, she does have some power, but she's wielding it in the wrong way. It's making me kind of annoyed,
Dreamer makes a good point. He said, I would have said the same thing as Uba if someone had come to me making it sound like, oh, I'm poor and I'm better than y'all, the way Erin had done it. So that's a very good point. The way Erin framed it was very much like, ooh, I don't want to sit with y'all. I'm going to go over here. So that's a good point. Uba, that's a pause, Uba, because you snatched the glasses off Erin in a couple of episodes. So I'm going to let you have it. But it is, when we mentioned that, Erin does have like HBIC, like energy. But the thing is with her, she cannot stand when that energy is not on her. She can't take it when the girls don't love her. Because at the wreath making thing, that girl threw a fit when no one was on her side. She got up in a huff and I'm out of here. I can't do this with y'all, and called her sister. Meanwhile, Jenna's just like sitting there. These ladies are kind of attacking her. Jenna is letting her know, this is why I didn't come. This is what's going on with my skin. I did not say it the way that Erin presented itself. I, had my assistant rebooked this, and the only thing available was 2 days before because I wanted business class. So I took it. And I'm kind of mad that Jenna, this is Jenna's personality, right? She's very like, let me explain. She said multiple times over the last 8 episodes, I've never had a group of like girlfriends that I consistently hang out with. This is a new experience for me being in these dynamics. Had that been me, I don't owe y'all an explanation. Like I don't owe you anything. I'm here.
That
So what
part.
about it? So what about it? Are we gonna have dinner or what? And Miss Erin, I'm gonna get you together because that is not what I said. Um, so Brynn is just kind of like going in on her. Sai is going in on her. They're kind of laughing at her. Like, what do you mean your friend's dog, you had a dog sit and you couldn't come and then you were sick and you had like they're just not buying any of her reasoning, calling them excuses. So Brynn says the excuse about her being self-conscious about her skin is a cop-out, to which Jenna responds, well, Brynn, you've never seen my skin. I haven't shared that with you. And Brynn, thinking she eats, says, well, you don't share anything with me. And I'm like, yeah, she doesn't. Like, why would she? Let's take a look around. Why would she share anything with y'all? And so Jenna again is trying to, explain, and she says, well, when you see pictures of me, you're never gonna see a picture of me on the red carpet showing skin. And Brynn retorts, I don't look at pictures of you on the red carpet. And that's when I knew she was a hater.
Yeah,
That's
me.
I was like, that. What is that? She's telling you, even in these events, when women typically wear gowns and they've got cleavage and they're showing skin, you're not going to see her in that. But these girls were in such a hurry to get a gotcha moment and to try to embarrass Jenna Lyons. And Sai starts laughing. Uba starts laughing. Erin is giggling uncontrollably. And I'm like,
It's the Aaron effect.
this is ugly. This is
It was
ugly.
Mean Girls.
But,
Like Aaron turned that thing into a Mean Girls episode.
yeah.
And I felt so bad for Jenna because, again, she was trying to kind of pour her heart out about her skin condition, this genetic disorder that she has and that she's had multiple surgeries for. And these girls is cackling. That's why I have to get forgiveness from Jessica because they was being
Cackling hags.
about
Very
this
much.
girl's genetic disorder. And basically, when Brynn makes that joke about, I haven't seen your pictures, but you was watching her unboxing or her boxing though. So that's why when Jenna in the confessional was like, oh, I know you have, because clearly this girl is in your social media. So actually, Jenna is the one that ate in the confessional. Brynn thought she ate, but she admitted herself that she was clocking Jenna's social media. So these girls is jealous. They're hating. They've been hating from the sidelines because Jenna is that girl. She is on the red carpet. She's been doing all these great things. Yeah. And I really, really hope they get off this Jenna hate train because it's not going nowhere. And the fans are going to go with you.
I can understand if Jenna was giving them some ammo, right? I can understand if Jenna was just like a raging narcissist to these people and constantly holding herself to higher standards and constantly like, I'm not going to do that. But so far, what we've seen is Sai holding herself higher than everybody. I'm not going to eat that. That's greasy food. You don't have enough to me. Jessel complaining about her room. Jessel complaining about the wardrobe. Brynn complaining about no hot guys. Brynn talking through people like, we're seeing everybody else display these narcissistic and self-centered behaviors. And the only thing Jenna Lyons doing is asking people to come collab with her, to come watch a casting, to support their brand. She's giving away gifts. Like, I'm really trying to figure out what is happening that's warranting all of this stuff. And it's because it really is an ick factor. Because I mean, this is Housewives to an extent, but like this lady really has done, that lady shows up to work, says hi, gives gifts, and goes home. Like, she minds her own business every damn scene. Like, how can you gang up on her? That's like when Kenya was ganging up on Tootie, or what was her name? Kim Fields. Like, this lady, Kim Fields minds her own business. Like, how are you ganging up on Tootie?
They were hating even on her clothes. She didn't say that. She just came in with a bag and her back out. And they were like, oh, I never seen that much skin before. And
I'm like,
I was like, these are haters. I've been seeing it since the Hamptons. And I was like, Jenna, you in danger, girl. You need to get away from these people that are frenemies. And if she does not come back to the show, I will not blame her. Because she doesn't need the show,
Yeah.
And every time she's trying to be open, they're literally like stabbing her in the back and trying to paint her a certain kind of way that's negative, So I hope
agree completely.
Jenna comes back. I think the show needs her. The fans love her. I think she's totally the fan favorite at this point. And I'm glad that Jessel at least seems to be, going to be riding for Jenna. And it seems like Upa will, but we'll get to that when we get to that. But
we'll see how
Jenna.
it plays out. So before we wrap this episode up, let's go ahead and open up the lines. The call-in number is in the chat. We're going to finish this up and then take some callers. We want to get your opinions on this. A lot of our viewers and people that are watching this, you've been working with us on a couple of different episodes. We've had a lot of really good conversations. So let's see what we say about this. So as they're going inside, Aaron checks on, like, are you okay, Jenna? Are you sure? And then takes the opportunity to also, again, throw shade at her in the confessional, saying, and I hated her tone of voice in this. She said, actions have consequences, Jenna.
Yeah, consequences, Jenna.
Actions have consequences, Jenna. And I'm like, what actions? What actions are we talking about? And it's still so weird to me that Aaron is it really feels like she's leading the charge on this. So Jessel and Jenna do have a private conversation. Like we had mentioned, all of the girls have complained about everything, but Jenna goes in that little tiny room and is just like, oh, this is nice. This is cute. This is quaint. Like, when I would have been like, y'all, I'm going to go to my house because I got a house here too, or something. Or I'll go buy a house because I have the money. Y'all can stay here. But they go to Jessel's room, and Jenna, kind of makes a comment in her confessional saying, I guess I'm being punished because Jessel's room is absolutely gorgeous. So maybe that's what I get for not, coming with them. But Jessel does acknowledge that the ladies kind of took Jenna's insecurity and weaponized it. So it was good to see Jessel kind of not just say that in a confessional, but tell her to her face, I do see where you would feel like this. I am sorry. We flipped to Cy and Brynn, who are just coming off as like the two most miserable people in the entire world, complaining that Jenna doesn't share with them. When it was interesting that last week, Jenna shared with Cy about where her nickname came from, and Cy couldn't wait to come back and tell that story and co-opt it, like we said about it. So then we end with kind of Jenna telling Jessel that she thinks it's weird that Brynn is coming this hard at her. She feels like there's some unresolved anger or something there. And Jessel kind of agrees. She says that there is some animosity brewing under there. She's not exactly sure what it stems from. And this is interesting. Someone mentioned in the comments earlier, seeing all of this kind of play out and knowing that at this point, nobody's really rocking with Brynn anymore. So, we do see that Jessel's kind of been the one right there with Brynn kind of agreeing on certain stuff. Cy's not rocking with her anymore. So it's interesting to see Cy kind of acknowledge that, yeah, Brynn's kind of going a little bit hard, and I'm not exactly sure what this comes from. So Jenna kind of tells her something's got to give, or I'm completely okay just not having a relationship with Brynn. And so we end the episode there. Jessel even makes a comment. She's like, poor Jenna. Like, she had this relaxing 2 days. She was on the beach. She's suntanned, and then she comes into this. Like, girl, I don't want to travel with y'all either. I wouldn't want to come here either. So what do we think of this? What do we think of this end scene?
I think that Jenna is too blessed to be stressed because, like Jessel said, and like we know, she was at the Four Seasons for like 2 days, like living her best life, which I bet some of them girls could never do based on how they're acting. So she saw that little room and she knew what it was. She knows she's being punished. If she didn't know by the gang up at the table, like Dollface says, she sees now by getting the worst room, that they're not too pleased with her. And I'm glad that Jenna and Jessel clocked Brynn for the extra hate because Brynn is going a little too hard. It's a pattern now. It was her going after Jenna at the Hamptons, her calling her Jenna Lyons, during Jessel's event. And then the unboxing comments, and being mad about Jenna posting on her own social media about, what she's doing. It's like, Brynn, girl, like, it's really giving that the problem is you. And what you're saying about Jenna has a lot more to say about you. I think it's maybe the fact that Jenna's older and, issues with like mother figures could be making some kind of transference. I don't know what it is, but I'm glad that at least Jenna's seeing it. And hopefully she also sees, Aaron's snaky ways, because I'm glad that Cy threw Aaron under the bus real quick and was like, oh, Aaron told us that, about you not wanting to fight Coach. And Jenna's like, I didn't say that. So Jenna, she's a smart lady. I think she's putting two and two together. She's like,
Yeah.
okay, the math is not mathing with how Brynn is acting for sure, but she's definitely seeing who these people are slowly. And I'm here for the Jessel and Jenna team up. I hope Uba joins that team more swiftly. And
Yep.
as much as I have given Jessel before, about her, being ungrateful and rude and all this stuff, Jessel's really grown on me, and she shined so much this scene when she was there for Jenna. And she told her, like, listen, it's your money. If you want to do business class, that's fine. Because again, just her being 6 feet alone and the leg room, of course she would want to upgrade. And her being a boss and a businesswoman and healing from surgery, of course she wants a little more comfort, a little more service. It's like Jessel gets it. Jessel is moving way up the rankings for me. It's like Jenna, number 1. Jessel is now number 2. Uba's number 3. And the rest of them, they got to do better. I don't hate any of them because, again, it's a new season. It's a new cast. I'm getting to know them. I enjoy the drama for what it is, but they start to get on my nerves, that wrong mean girl team, So I'm team Jessel, team Jenna, team Uba, even though Uba is under Aaron's spell. What about you? How are you feeling about these ladies? Where they falling for you?
I really like this. Again, as much as Sai and Aaron and Brynn are kind of grating on my nerves, I think this cast has really good chemistry. Again, this is a ramp-up season, right? We're getting ready to know them. It's a brand new, cast. They had an impossible task. RHONY was on the air for 14 seasons. Like, they were the first people really to do a complete, like, hard reboot. Miami did a soft one. They kept 4 ladies. So, like, New York City was kind of damned if they do, damned if they don't. And I'm very, very happy that damned that they did, because I'm enjoying this. We're seeing alliances kind of being formed. We're definitely seeing them get more comfortable in front of the camera and kind of forgetting that the cameras are there, and they're having more, like, real conversations. So all of this carrying bones and this, this gossiping and stuff, it feels a little more organic. And I think you were one of the ones at episode 1 or 2, when you were on the panel with us, we kind of agreed that, like, Brynn, it was Brynn versus Aaron, and Brynn was kind of giving off the vibe of like, oh, well, like, she really wants to be accepted by Jenna. Jenna is this rich, powerful woman and everything that Brynn wants to be. But it's almost like Brynn comes across to me as somebody that expects things to be given to her. And when they don't happen, they throw a fit and they turn on that person. Jenna seems like the kind of person that, baby, I've worked for what I have. I'm going to put other people on that work, but I don't suffer like fools. I'm not giving away stuff for free for you. I'm not entertaining you just for the sake of entertaining. Like, I don't really have time for that. And it's almost like she puts up with Brynn, but Brynn is not the kind of girl. Like, Jenna Lyons runs with Solange and Beyonce and Michelle Obama and Anna Wintour. What does it look like if she's hanging out with Brynn, who's flashing her coochie and her boobs at parties to get attention from men? Like, baby, we're not at the same class in an airline, or we're not at the same class in society. Like, Brynn needs to get that through her head. She really thinks they're on the same level. So Brynn has really, really clicked down. She's a spoiled brat. She's entertaining. She can be fun, but she needs to grow up. For being 40, like, when is she going to grow up? Like, she grew up a little bit. So yeah, that's where we're at. I don't think that we have any. Yeah.
I got one more question for you. So this is kind of a rumor I saw on social media.
Oh God.
Leah McSweeney might be in talks to come back to RHONY.
I saw that.
How do you feel she would do with this cast so far? Whose team do you think should be on? Do you think she'd get the girls together?
Well, Leah is a mixture of Brynn and Sai.
Yeah.
So, like, I liked Leah's first season because she annoyed the living hell out of Ramona. I put up with her second season. I didn't think she was bad, but after all of that stuff came out about how she flipped on Ebony just to kind of save her job and to stay on with the old women, I was like, okay, like, I'm good. And then her performance on Ultimate Girls Trip, just like, I'm okay with not seeing her on my screen for a while. Like,
you don't want her?
She's draining. She's absolutely draining. I think the cast that we have now is really, really good. I would give maybe a friend, but No more. It looks like Tez asked if we are close to callers. Tez, I announced some callers about 10 minutes ago, babe. We were just filling time. Do we have anybody in the queue? All right,
so you don't want to see her back, or you would?
I don't want to see her back. I don't want to see her at all. I would be okay. I would be okay for them adding maybe a friend, but I think this cast has performed very strongly so far, and they're going to come back, obviously, because after filming, alliances were broken. So I think that they're going to come back really strong. Maybe add a friend of somebody. I would like for Jenna to add somebody, because that girl needs somebody in her corner. Hey, who do we have?
Got a caller. Hey.
Hey, guys. Hey, Fave.
Hey, Demetrio.
I don't really have a lot to say. I will say this. Sai is getting on my nerve. Like, as the episodes go by, I just cannot stress this enough. She's just such a bitch. Like, just a negative Nancy. And it's just so irritating. And they're giving the vibes of the takedown season of Denise. It feels like that's what they're trying to do to Jenna. If that makes sense. Like, it's like every episode, it's like they're finding something to nitpick at her about. And I will say this about Jenna, because she is kind of getting on my nerve. Stop lying to these women. Stop fucking lying to these women. Yes, like, if you didn't want to fly coach, just say that. Like, why are you trying to make it seem like that's not what you said, and then the camera showed it back to you literally saying, I don't want to fly coach? Just say it. You're Jenna fucking Lyons. You don't want to fly coach. You're not a coach type of bitch. Like, you're first class. If I had the type of money like Jenna, you wouldn't catch me in coach ever.
But that was very much like the secondary reason. Like, Erin completely bypassed the whole 30-minute conversation she had with Jenna about her genetic condition and about the reason for it. So was she serious about not wanting to fly coach? Probably, but that was like a very secondary, and I'm sure Jenna thought it was joking, like, oh girl, I don't want to fly coach. But I'm sure in her mind she was like, I want to be comfortable, I'm not flying coach. But that's not the reason she didn't go with them. Let's be clear. She had already said, right, yeah, I'm getting there ahead of time. But it wouldn't have mattered. They wouldn't have liked it anyway.
Well, yeah, that's true.
They would have ate her up about that too.
I was just saying that was, like, I guess the main focal point that they were trying to point out to her, even though she did give the other reasons why, but that was what they were kind of like trying to stick at her about, like, oh, you didn't want to fly coach. I would have told them, no, I absolutely did fucking not want to fly coach. Do I look like a coach type of bitch? No, I do not. And if you don't like it, what are you going to do about it? I'm like, Monique, you can't beat me up.
Well, I mean, they probably could. Jenna does not look like a fighter. She's too calm.
I am liking that we're getting to see a little bit more of Uba. You know, she's coming. You know, I feel like she hasn't really been here, if that makes sense. Like, she's kind of been like shied away just a little bit. So I'm glad that we're kind of getting to see more of her, and she's getting in the ring with the girls just a little bit. So I'm kind of definitely here for that in the upcoming episodes. And them size feathers, I'm all the way here for that.
Agreed.
Yes, but that's all I had.
All right, Demetrio, it was good. Thank you.
All right. Bye, you guys.
Have a good night, babe. All right. Let's see really quick.
Flying. If you're talking about Beverly Hills, they be gassing up the PJ, the private jet. So if these girls are mad about Jenna in business class, they really cannot hang with a lot of these other housewives.
Exactly. Because even Miami, Dr. Nicole Martin Charter has her own jet and said, we're riding. Let's go. Across the way. We're going a 30-minute trip. All right, guys. Well, it looks like we don't have any more callers. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you. We had some really good chat in there. Thank you, Amanda. Thank you, Demetrio, Megan, Kevin, Dreamer. We saw a couple of Sean S., MJ, Arts World. Thank you guys so much for joining. Thank you so much for contributing. Please make sure you like. Please make sure you share. Please make sure you follow. And definitely give us feedback in the comments. If you agree with something we said, let us know. If you disagree, write it on your own page. Call in and let us know. We love having these conversations, as you can see. Shantae, it was great having you with me tonight. Thank you so much for joining me. You look gorgeous as always.
Much love. Trying to keep up with you, Jamie.
All right. All right. Well, you guys have a great night. And don't forget to tune in. Tomorrow we're doing our live Lovin' Hip Hop on Wednesday nights. And I believe we are going, tonight is the premiere of Salt Lake City. So we're waiting. We're still working out some kinks on when we're going to post that. I think those are going to start be posted on Thursday for the time being. And then once we move to New York City to Sundays, we will. Monday, I don't know. And actually, I'm being told that Salt Lake City is live for the premiere tomorrow at 7:30 Central and whatever other time zone you lived in. Google it and see what time it is that is for you. Love and Hip Hop has been moved to Thursday this week. But you would know that if you follow the channel and subscribe to updates. So thank you guys so much. Y'all have yourself a great night. We will check y'all again soon. And whoever's going to be here tomorrow, call in and we'll see y'all tomorrow. Have a good night, guys.
Thank you. See you.